What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bring you incredible guests from all over the world. So sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is one of my faves. He's a health and fitness coach, but specializes with clients in their 40s. He's a podcaster, an author, also a functional aging specialist. Please welcome Allan Misner. Misner or Misner?
It's Misner, yeah.
Misner. I should have asked you that before we started.
That's okay. No, we're cool. We're cool. You said this was going to be raw and just we're going to have a conversation. So let's have it.
Absolutely. Raw is the best way. So you didn't just accidentally stumble into being a health and fitness coach focusing on people in their 40s. You actually had a journey that led you to this being an expert in this area.
Yes. You every movie you watch, everything you watch, they say it follows this thing called the hero's journey. So you might be familiar with that.
I like that.
And I had a lot of that in this whole thing. What happened was I did the things you're supposed to do. I was the person I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I made it to the C-suite by the age of 39. I was the vice president of a Fortune 500 company. I was making the money. I was jet setting around the world, enjoying my life, sort of,
Right.
but not really.
Living in that box, right?
I lived in that box. I was the best at my job that I could possibly be and the top of my career, and I was miserable. I went on vacation. I had to force myself to take a vacation because I just told myself I cannot let 4 weeks of vacation just roll off the table for another year. I kind of need to take at least 1 week off and do this thing. So I took a week off. I went to a timeshare. I literally bought the timeshare the second day because I said I have to have something that I've invested in. It's going to make me come here. Otherwise, I won't come back. I won't do this again.
Right.
I tried to play volleyball, a simple game of sand volleyball, 6-on-6, nothing major. And I almost felt like I needed to go to the emergency room. I thought I was going to die. I was 39. I was 39, but I my health and everything, I probably would have tested out being closer to 69. So I literally almost went to the hospital playing one game of volleyball. And I was so miserable. I was like, how did this happen? Yeah. And so I'm sitting on the beach the next day and I'm just thinking, okay, I'm fat, I'm unhealthy, I'm unfit, and I hate everything about my life. And so I called myself the fat bastard. That hit my head, that word, fat bastard, hit my head because I didn't even like me. You know?
Oh, good.
It was no good. So I made a decision. I'm going to fix this. Now, I made the decision, but this was an all-inclusive resort, and I was only on day 2. So I did continue to drink my ass off for the rest of the time I was there. I said, okay, when I get back Monday, I'll start, Monday. And so I went back, and Monday I tried, and I failed. And I tried, and I failed. And I hurt myself, and I was back, and I failed. And just over and over, 8 years of, trying and failing and trying and failing and just like, what's wrong? Right. And so 8 years later, I'm 45 years old, basically. I'm in a hotel. I wake up hungover, and I'm like, why? Why am I struggling to change? I've done really, really hard things in my life. I've been successful in just about everything I ever did. And 2 things were going on in my life at that same time. So one, my daughter was 20 and she was becoming who I was when I was 20, super fit, super into athletics. She became a level 1 CrossFit coach. She's doing the competitions. She's doing these mud runs, and she's so excited when she's talking about it. And I'm trying to be excited too. I'm like, that's awesome, honey. That's awesome, honey. And then she says these words. And yes, she still called me daddy when she was 20 years old. She said, Daddy, I want you to come watch me do a CrossFit competition.
That'll kick you in the butt.
Right. I was like, wait. I am not a spectator in my daughter's life. I'm a participant.
Yeah.
I cannot, I will. I will go watch her. But that was hard. And so it's all around the same time. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is this so hard? What is stopping me? And then it hit me. Every great thing I ever did in my life started with a commitment.
Yeah.
It was emotional, it was deep, and it was real, and it was hard. And when I made that commitment to do it, so passing the CPA exam, getting that next job, getting that promotion, doing the things that I did in my career to be as successful as I was, the things I did when I was in the military, the things I did when I was in sports, every single one of those came with a deep, compelling commitment. And I was like, I haven't done that yet. I haven't done that yet. And so I said, okay, I am not going to be a spectator in my daughter's life. I'm going to be a participant. And whatever I have to do to make that happen is happening. And it's happening now. So what I did was a little crazy. I signed up for a Tough Mudder.
Oh my God. Those are kind of intense, aren't they?
Yes. Because again, I had a level one CrossFit coach daughter who was teaching CrossFit and was doing these mud runs. And so we did a little one. And I said, hey, why don't we do a Tough Mudder together? Now, a Tough Mudder, if you don't know, is like 12 to 13 miles, so about a half marathon.
Yeah.
But it's not on the road. It's in the mud and on hills and then swamps. It's like, It's hard. And then they just throw in for fun 25 obstacles to make it harder.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I signed up for this is stupid. I mean, there was no way physically, mentally, I could not have done it.
45 at this time?
I was 45. I was almost 45. Yeah. And so I said, let's do this. And we signed up for it. I paid for it. I bought the airline tickets. I did everything. And I said, okay, I've got 8 months to do this.
Yeah.
So now there was this really hard thing. Do it. Just, you can't, there's no excuses. There's no nothing. I'm committed to this 100% and I'm doing it. Now I was fortunate. I was single. I could do these things. I could say, okay, I'm just going to run off and do this.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that capacity to go that fast, but I did. And that's why I did the extreme thing I did. Now, I did all the work. I managed my nutrition. I did everything I needed to do. And so 8 months later, I crossed that finish line with my daughter holding her hands at the end of the Tough Mudder. And I didn't slow her down because that was one thing I did not want to do. I did not want to be some hindrance to her. I wanted her to enjoy the race. I wanted to enjoy the race, and I wanted to finish with her. Now, there are 3 events in my life that they're indelibly marked in my brain. I will never forget these moments as long as I live. The first was the day she was born, back in 1992, when she wrapped her hand around my pinky finger when she was laying on the bed right after she was born. The next is walking her down the aisle.
Yeah.
Just about a year and so ago. And the third one is, yes, holding her hands as we cross the finish for that Tough Mudder.
I think everybody just fell in love with you. Right, guys? If you're listening, did you just fall in love with Allan? Like, how beautiful is that?
But it's a concept that I really want people to understand is that our lives are limited by what we let ourselves do.
Amen.
Okay. And it's not just what's in your head, because you can say, well, I believe I can do anything. Right. But I was in no shape to do a Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
And then I decided I was...
8 months, did you get certified as a coach and all these other things?
That was part of it, yes. Because I traveled so much. Yeah, I traveled so much for my job. I had every excuse. I traveled 90% of the time. So, when you say 90%, people throw out percentages of travel. If you haven't done a lot of traveling, then you wouldn't know that 90% basically means I'm home 1 weekend per month.
Yep. Been there. I know what it's like. And it's very difficult to manage a healthy lifestyle when you're on the road like that. And you're working.
Yes. You work a 12-hour day and you come back to the hotel and the hotel bar is right there. It's like, okay, I'll just grab dinner.
Yeah.
And a beer and another beer and a third beer. And then, yeah. And so it was hard. But the principle of it was this. I was driven to do something, to be something. And that's when I kind of came up with the idea that fitness is not a look.
Yeah.
It's not, saying I'm a professional athlete or I'm able to do these things. Fitness is who you are. Yeah. It's what you're capable of. And so I'll tell you another story real quick here. My grandfather, his name is Glenn, I went to visit him. I would go every year to see my mother, see my family up there in North Carolina. And I went to visit him, and we were in the golf cart riding around after lunch, and he's in the golf cart, and all the other guys are going to go out and golf. So I was ready to get out of the golf cart and go see other family members. And my grandfather was still there. I'm like, aren't you going to go play golf with the guys? He's like, no, I can't play anymore. And I'm like, what's going on? He says, well, it's my balance. I'm like, okay, well, that's something we work on. Do you want to go to the driving range and kind of work on your balance? And he's like, no, it's just so bad. I can't even swing a club.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, he's 80, okay. So he loses golf at 80. He lived till he was 95. Golf was his favorite thing in the whole world. And he lived the last 15 years of his life not able to play golf. Now, flash forward 10 years, he's 90.
Yeah.
He can't get up from his chair and make it to the bathroom in time. So he's in an assisted care apartment. He can't make it to the bathroom. So it's a mess. They have to come in and clean him up.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get visitors for the last 5 years of his life. So I didn't see him from 90 to 95. I didn't even get to see him. I was in town, but he didn't want me to come over.
That's terrible.
Okay. It is. But I don't want you to think like that. What I want you to think like is, okay, who do I need to be?
Right.
Who do I need to be? So, I'm 58 right now. I need to be an awesome grandfather when our kids decide that they're going to start having kids.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be doing. We didn't do Tough Mudders. My daughter did Tough Mudders. What are my grandkids going to be doing when they're 15 to 20 years old? I don't know, but I'm going to be trying to do it with them.
Yeah.
I'm not a spectator. I'm a participant. When great little kids get on the floor and you can sit down with them and watch their show sitting there at their level, it changes that relationship in ways that you would never, ever believe.
Yes.
If you cannot open your own pickle jar, you are dependent on somebody or something else.
Yep.
And if you can't get up from the couch and make it to the bathroom in time, you're not living your best life. Yep. So if you think about exercise and you think about workouts, like, I hate that. I hate getting sweaty. I hate, I don't want to lift weights. I don't want to do this stuff. Think about the alternative.
Right. That's pretty heavy.
Okay.
You have a choice. You have a choice.
I don't mean to be heavy, but what I want you to do is think about the joy.
Yeah.
What's the joy of being able to sit down next to a 5-year-old and watch SpongeBob on your computer when she was terrified of me beforehand? I'm like, I've got to solve this problem because this little girl doesn't want to be around me. She's shy around me. I need to show her I'm a normal human being, but I can't do it sitting in a couch.
Yeah.
So I literally opened up my laptop, sat down on the tile floor, and pulled up SpongeBob and just started watching it. She walked over and sat next to me and watched the first episode. And when it was done, I leaned over to her. I said, do you want to watch another one? She said, can we?
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is not just about what you might experience from the other side. This is what's available to you if you keep your strength up, if you keep your fitness up, if you keep your health up. You'll remain independent, you'll remain available, and you'll be doing things in your life that you love, and you won't lose them. You have to keep them, and you keep them by doing the workouts. So instead of calling it a workout or calling it exercise, call it what it is. It's training. It's training for you to be fit to be the person you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we forget that. We think it's this terrible thing, like, I don't want to be on the treadmill. Well, what if this was you running with your granddaughter from the lions to the monkeys at the zoo? Exactly. Instead of sitting on the bench waiting for them to finish their zoo trip and tell you all about it, you're able to run with her and the monkeys because it's exciting and it's fun, and she wants to see them, and she's giggling, and you're running with her. Yeah. Don't you want that?
I would hope anybody would want that to stay active. And this is like something what you're touching on is I've had a conversation with a guest in the past. He had developed products to help him kind of reverse his aging. And what you're talking about is the difference between chronological age and biological age. Like, we all have the opportunity and the ability to reverse our biological age, so that when we take a fit test or, and this is proven by science, we can be 80 years old, but we can be functioning as a 6-year-old. That's
Yeah.
essentially what you're talking about, right?
Yes. I call it fit for task.
Yeah.
And it's basically the principle of saying, what do you want to be able to do? If you love playing golf and you want to keep playing golf, you have to train your body to maintain balance and strength and stamina so you can play golf.
Yeah.
If you want to be a great grandmother and you want to be able to sit on the tile floor for an hour and watch TV with your granddaughter, and she's going to lose her interest every 5 minutes, get up and run around, and you want to be able to get up and run around with her. You want to keep up with her at the zoo. Your stamina, strength, mobility, you have to build those things. If you want to be able to open your own pickle jars, you got to build the grip strength. You got to build the strength to do things. And yes, if you want to be able to wipe your own butt at 105, which I do, you've got to be able to get up from the couch. That's a squat. Run to the bathroom, maybe, at least have some speed to get it done. All the dexterity and everything to sit down, do the paperwork, get everything up, get up and be out of there. If you want that lifestyle, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
And you earn it by training.
How do you motivate? So I feel like people kind of in their latter, like I'd say middle age, right? Middle age. I'm 47, so I'm middle age. How do you keep people in the middle age of their life? How do you get them to be motivated or inspired to do that? Because a lot of people tend to feel like they start slowing down. And I think that's almost natural if you don't do something about it or train yourself or discipline yourself, whatever word works for you. That, how do you get them to kind of change that thought process? Because I think it's like I almost say a label that we're told like, oh, we're middle age, we start slowing down, and we get tired by 5. We're not supposed to, we don't play anymore, like things like that. And so how do you inspire your clients to get rid of that negative self-talk?
Okay. Well, self-talk is we could talk for years and days about self-talk. Okay. But here's the thing. Most of us do motivation wrong.
Right.
We think motivation is this secret little force that shows up, hopefully when we want it, but usually not, or it doesn't stick around. So we lose our motivation. So we might start out strong and then we fizzle out. We're like, okay, well, I just don't have willpower. Just not strong-willed. I'm not determined. All the words. You can just throw all the words out there. But the reality is motivation has to be earned by action.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I want you to think about this from two pieces. So the first piece is the easiest piece. This is something that can happen right away.
Okay.
And that's accountability. Okay. You can hire a coach like me to help guide you, to keep you accountable. It's as easy as getting on the computer and typing in a website address and sending a message. I'm interested in some coaching. I need some accountability. And then you have a coach that can help drive you to perform, to keep doing the things. Another great way is what I call peer pressure. Yeah. Everybody thinks that peer pressure is this terrible thing, but if you have the right peers, it can be a great thing. Yeah. So if you join a group, like maybe a spin class, one of my clients, she got back into spin class. She's like, oh my God, I can't even believe I left this. I'm so happy to be back. Some people will join run clubs. Some people will do a Zumba class. Some people will do water aerobics. Whatever it is, there's other people there that can hold you accountable because they're there. Jane and Sue and Nathan are all going to be there at the 5 o'clock spin class. I'm going to be on my bike because this is my bike. You do that when you start doing things regularly. You pick your desk, you pick your space, you do your thing, same place at the table, and you do the same thing in a spin class. And so it's like, okay, I've got my tribe, I've got my people, and I'm going to be there for them, and they're going to be there for me. Oh, yeah. That's accountability at a social level. Very, very powerful, but very easy to do.
Oh, yeah.
You join.
I've got my yoga girl. We do yoga a couple times a week. And so to get my ass to there, because it's a tough workout, I always hey, we're doing Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. What day are we doing? And we show up with for each other. And it's that accountability piece. Well, I have a lot of girlfriends I do different workouts with, but that has been huge for me just because number one, you're socializing, which is important. Number two, you're doing something that is great for your body and just staying fit. And so I can attest to that. I love that piece because I love doing my classes with my girls.
There you go. Exactly. The 5 o'clock crew or whatever it is. Yeah. It's that's you, that's your tribe, that's your people. And you want to be there for them. If you don't show up, they're going to, maybe they'll call you. Hey, where were you today? Sure. Okay. Now, on the other side, it is more powerful, but harder to do.
Okay.
So it takes a little bit of time, and that's the self-efficacy side. Okay. So one thing we have to do is we have to become the CEO of ourselves. And now what a CEO does is they don't do the work. What they do is they set processes in place, things in place that make the work happen.
Oh, yeah.
So one example I have is I really wanted to do some workouts, and I'd like forget a shoe, one shoe, not both shoe, one shoe, or I'd forget my shorts or a sock or a shirt or something. So when it came time to work out, I didn't have that in my gym bag.
Oh boy.
It was so discouraging. I was mad. I was like, okay, I can't work out today. A bad word. Don't use the word can't. So what I did is I said, what do I need to do to make sure I have what I need? So I wrote a packing list. It seemed pretty simple, but I wrote a packing list. I laminated it, put it in my bag.
I love it.
Every night when I was brushing my teeth, I packed that bag with everything on that list, double checked it, put it by the door.
Yeah.
So I would have to trip over that bag on my way to my truck to drive to work. So I would always have that gym bag in my truck at work, ready to go. Okay. So it was little strategies and tactics that I put in place to make sure I did the things I told myself I was going to do. So that's being self-managed. Okay. It's just putting strategies and tactics to make it easy, to make it a no-brainer. Okay. So that's that level of self-efficacy. Now, the other level is the social one. And this one is the most important and most powerful thing you can ever do.
Okay.
And this is where your habits and your values align with what you need to do.
Okay.
So the way that works is you think about it. What do runners do?
Okay.
Runners run.
Right.
Right? And so someone started out and they were sitting on the couch and they said, I'm going to get out and go for a walk. They do the walk and eventually they add a little jog to it. And then they feel pretty good. They're getting some miles in. They're like, hey, I think I'll sign up for a 5K. They do the 5K. They finish it. They feel great. And now they joined a run club. Again, some of that social, accountability. And there's a point in their head where it clicks. I'm a runner.
Yeah.
So when the alarm goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning, they get up, they lace up their shoes, put on their shorts and shirt, and they run. Exactly. Right. So CrossFitters CrossFit. Vegans eat vegan.
Right.
So there, we basically, you say label free, but the reality of it is we do identify as
identifying with something that you're passionate about is not necessarily a label.
Right.
Something that keeps you healthy and happy. So,
right.
Yeah.
But we identify. I identify. I'm identifying myself as being this incredible grandfather that's going to be able to keep up with his grandkids. I identify with someone who's going to be able to take care of myself and my family for as long as I possibly can. When you start identifying as something, you just do it. Runners don't have to think about training for upcoming runs. They just do it. And then they sign up for the next one, and then they just do it. And so they actually get upset when they can't train. Okay?
Yeah.
And so that's where you want to go. Now, that takes every one of those. That having a coach or leader to hold you accountable at that level takes hiring the coach. That's a do.
Right.
Having the group means joining the group. Having those peers to help you means joining those peers. Picking them and joining them. Being able to be self-managed, there's a lot of doing there. Okay. Packing the gym bag consistently, doing it all the time, making sure it's exactly in front of the door. So I'd have to step over it to leave. That's doing. And then the final bit, by doing and doing and doing and doing, you eventually identify, because that's now in your values and that's now in your habits that you don't even think about anymore. So there's the motivation's there, but you don't have to wait for it. It's there because you made it.
Yeah. Well, that's why they need you, Allan. So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, you know what, I'm in this middle age stage of my life and I need some help staying on track, where can they find you, connect with you, and learn more about implementing these processes to help them get to their goal and to stay active and healthy for their grandkids?
Yeah, well, for all of it, for yourself, for your wife, for your husband.
Man, I'm a big believer. Right. What you're buying, what you're selling, I'm buying. Okay.
Right. For everybody in your life, the better you live, the better they live, the better for everybody. The more experiences you're going to have. It all builds on you making yourself the best that you can possibly be. It's not about being the best athlete or the best looking. It's about living and being the best, healthiest person you can be. And it doesn't take a lot of effort, but it does take doing. And it takes, it just takes the doing. And when you do, you have the motivation. When you have the motivation, you do. So it builds on itself. So you can go to 40plusfitness.com. That's 40plus fitness.com/label free. No space, just label free.
Okay.
It's going to take you to a page that I'm building just for you. Okay. It's going to have like a little summary of this, and then it has links to all the things I do. So if you're interested in me and want to learn more, you can go there. Again, 40plusfitness.com/label free.
Awesome. You guys can put those links in the show notes, or if you're watching this, it's on the screen right there. Go click that link, go check it out, and go if you are interested in changing your life patterns and being that fit person that you want to be for as long as possible. Do not hesitate to reach out to Allan. He will get you there and make sure that it's lasting for you. Allan, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Okay. One of the big things that stops a lot of people from being successful is that they get in their own way. We talked about excuses. We talked about a lot of things, and I did a lot of that for a long, long time. It wasn't until I did the journey of self-awareness and understanding why I was stopping myself or letting others stop me. But by letting others, it was still me actively stopping myself. And so I would just say, realize that this is not a straight line path. You need to know yourself. So take that time to really do the self-awareness work so that when you do start to understand that, you can literally take things that used to block you and turn them into a superpower.
Yeah.
But you got to do that self-aware. That 99% of fitness and health is mindset.
Absolutely. 1,000.
As a coach, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You have to, but you have to do it willingly.
Yeah,
if you do it begrudgingly, you're going to stop. So this is a big mindset journey. It's not a physical journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just realize that, doing some of these things is hard, but you can do it. You can do a little bit, you can do it. And that's one of the things I love about the human body. It is a machine that can fix itself. It is a machine that can fix itself. And if you just put in a little bit of effort, a little bit of good, including self-talk, good self-talk is not bad. You give your body what it needs. It will heal. It will get stronger. It will get better. No matter how old you are, you have this opportunity to be better. So yes, go out and be better.
I thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your story. But what I love the most is your why. And I think that in the under all of it, that someone has to really understand and connect to their why. And once they understand what that is, like the rest is just uphill from there, right? And like your why is so beautiful. And I think a lot of people can really resonate with that. I know I want to be fit and healthy for as long as I can. My grandparents were for a very long time until my grandfather had his stroke. But they lived until in their 90s, and they were pretty active up until like the last couple of years. And so I have a great example. And so I just really love everything that you're talking about, and I love your why. So it was beautiful. Thank you, Allan.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.